Hi everyone, it's your favorite show, Meet Child Show, and today we discuss something so important in the lives of international students in Europe, specifically Germany. You may be coming from Nigeria or Ghana, Zimbabwe, Uganda, Algeria, Morocco. Mention the names of these countries. And you know that you have an embassy in Germany. Ghana has an embassy in Germany, Nigeria has an embassy in Germany, Zimbabwe has an embassy in Germany. An embassy in Germany. So we simply ask, what is the role of these embassies in the life of students? Do you know any specific role of embassy in student life? So with me here to do a simple discussion is Mr.
Mitchell Mahachi.
Mr. Mitchell Mahachi, welcome to the show. This is Meet Child Show. We're talking about the role of embassies in Germany. We are from Africa, and we're in the diaspora. So it is worth it to discuss some of these topics, to open some kind of discussion, or to cause some, to send some signal to wherever it must go. We heard of the pandemic, and we are still in the pandemic. Can we mention or talk about a specific role or any roles that these many embassies did? We are talking about embassies in Germany, not in Belgium or Holland or Spain or Italy. Let's limit ourselves to Germany.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Charles, for this time to be speaking about this very important topic for students. And I would like to say the first thing is that I think the embassies particularly have a role with regards to economic integration with the various countries that they have ties with. But however, on another level, with the passage of time, the number of students coming then to study in countries, for instance, here in Germany, has actually increased. And therefore, the feeling is that the embassy then should have an increased role that it has with regards to students' welfare. And with this particular point that you mentioned with regards to the COVID pandemic, the feeling was students from Africa had a number of challenges that they faced. And I'm not sure if our embassies also have kind of like a database of the students that are within the area that they are operating. So probably that would be the first thing. That if they can just have this kind of database, that we have so many students there, so many students there, and in the event that we have something of this magnitude, because the pandemic meant many things for students. For example, it meant that you're not able to go for work as one. And two, it also meant even the health itself, right? And it also meant just communication. Because the pandemic also brought with it some even depression even, his mental health. So a number of things that are related to this.
Even talking about jobs, the people doing full-time work were asked to stay home and take some kind of monies. To cater for themselves because of the pandemic. How much more the students in the diaspora? So if I should talk about these embassies, I think what you're saying is right. They don't even have a single database of students from their countries. The argument has been that you came your way to study and you can't live on us. But is it so fair in this modern world that the Ghana embassy does not even know the total number of students studying in Germany? Students from Ghana. The embassy of Zimbabwe does not know the total number of students from Zimbabwe. And their respective courses. They don't know. It's like just as you mentioned, the embassy was established for economic reasons. Maybe come and do your passport, or come and renew your passport, or whatever. But I think their role should go beyond this. For now and from today, embassies, embassies should have a database.
We call this the Charles Declaration.
You call this the Charles Declaration. The embassies in Germany or Europe, embassies in America or Australia, Canada, should at least have the database of students living or residing in that country.
Yeah, I mean, Charles, what you mentioned is quite interesting, because I'm sure if they were interested in getting this information, by nightfall they can actually get it. Because, I mean, it's within...
Just a click.
Yeah.
Just a click from the German government.
Yeah.
How many students are from Zimbabwe and they're doing bachelor's or master's here? And within some minutes, I mean, just a click, they can feed them with this data.
Yeah, sure, that's very...
But it's like somebody's unconcerned.
Yeah, like we mentioned, I mean, the important role initially was that the economic cooperation between countries. So that was the bottom line. But with the passage of time, we think as students that the role should go beyond this.
I'm not saying we should live on embassies.
Yeah.
I mean, you did not travel from Zimbabwe or Uganda or South Africa or Ghana to come and live. To Germany to live on the embassies. That you are waiting on the embassies to bring you money or food. No. But some basic things can be done for the future. I mean, with regard to this pandemic, can your embassy tell you that we know of about 1,005 students from Africa or from Zimbabwe or from Ghana? No. So, has the happenings in Ukraine, this Russia-Ukraine banter or this conflict, has it exposed these embassies? Because our brothers in Ukraine have to run to Europe. I mean, and many of them came to Germany because the largest economy in Europe now is Germany. So our dear sisters and brothers in Ukraine, during these times of conflict, had to run to Germany for survival, like to seek refuge.
Yeah, I think it comes back to even this point that we've been talking about of the data. Because then when you want to react to a situation, you should actually have the information first. So let's say we are talking about how many students from Nigeria are in Ukraine, for instance. How many Ghanaians are studying in Ukraine? So when you now talk of the measure to, let's say, evacuate the students, you are looking at, we want to evacuate so many students that you actually know that you have a record of. So when the pandemic, when this Ukraine situation unfolds, and you don't have the exact number that you want to help, then how can you account that we have helped 2 out of 10, 2 out of 50? So it comes back to this.
So it comes back to the issue of database.
Yes.
At least students residing in Germany should be known by their respective embassies in Germany. And yes, the happenings in Ukraine and Russia has really exposed these embassies big time. Yeah. Because I mean, students have to run away from Ukraine to Germany. I mean, to seek refuge. Yeah. And the embassies do not even know these students. The embassy couldn't even help.
Yeah, in terms of the reaction now, exactly what the embassy would have done or should have done or could do. So when we have this information, at University XYZ in this town, we have so many students, maybe 50. So what help can we put together to evacuate our 50 students there? So it was then probably, in my view, because probably we were watching from the media, it is the students that were coming out on whatever media that they could use to say, the situation is like this. We have reached out to our embassy and possibly the embassy is not in a position to help. Yeah. So, but
I mean, many of these embassies couldn't help African students.
Yes. But we have, Charles, the African Union. And I'm sure in the African Union, there must be some kind of probably department that looks at emergency issues. And this is where they should come up, like with a position on how to assist the students from Africa jointly, right? From the African Union perspective. And to say, okay, this is the support that we are going to be putting to help our students.
So that is the point. The AU is another thing to be discussed one day.
Point. Yeah, the AU.
Yeah, but On this show, we only talking about the role of embassies in students' life in Germany. We are talking about how these embassies could have data of their own students. I mean, the embassy of Zimbabwe can have a data of students from Zimbabwe.
Definitely, yes.
Embassy of Ghana could have data of Ghanaian students in Germany. So that in any happenings like this Russia-Ukraine conflict, you can say we have about 1,005 students from Ghana, and therefore we can assist them with this and by this. It's not always about money, but you even reaching out to the person, guiding the person as to what he or she could do is also, I mean, something good.
Yes.
We can always applaud that. That my embassy called me and asked of where I am. Am I safe? Am I okay? Are you getting me? If these things do not happen, but students will have to sit down and organize themselves and call the embassy. It's another thing that could be looked at in these modern times. We believe that the embassies could have data of their students and not wait until conflict or any other thing before they start thinking about students in Germany or Ukraine or Belgium or Holland. So one thing that we have mentioned is a database. At least have the data of your own students from your own country, and don't wait until something huge or big happens. So we're going for a break. When we come back, we talk about the role of embassy in students' life. So we are still on your show, the role of African embassies in Germany. What is their specific role in students' life? Is it about going to renew your passport only? Going for passport replacement only? Or what? We want to know more. More is desired of these embassies in Germany. So, Mr. Mitchell, what can these embassies do in simple terms? I mean, we have some embassies we have embassy from Zimbabwe, we have the embassy of Ghana, let's say Nigerian embassy. I mean, look at the number of Nigerian students in Germany. So large.
Exactly.
What can these embassies do, at least if nothing at all, if not going about distributing money to students? What can they do? Okay.
So, first of all, Charles, there should be a realization.
They should realize something.
Yes. So, that this is actually an army, right? An army that can assist the government in various ways. So the first thing is the realization that, okay, we have, like you mentioned, that we have so many students from be it Nigeria, be it from Ghana, Zimbabwe, right? And they realize that this army, if it comes back to support us as a country, we can actually achieve quite a lot of things. So what the government can then actually do is that when it has this database that we were talking about, and then it can then come up with programs where students can actually be involved with working in the governments from their country. Mind you, Charles, we actually have a lot of skills that are actually being developed here in Germany. And it would be a pity if all these skills would remain just here in Germany. Because we have, you talk from dentists, you talk from engineers, many other things. And you know, probably back home, we are building our roads, we are building infrastructure, dams, etc., 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 right? And then if our embassies, based on this database we were talking about, they can just probably gather those, let's say, civil engineers, for example. We have a project that we want to do back home. How can you cooperate with this, right? So they then bring this together and work with the students.
So you mean we came here to gain knowledge?
Exactly.
And these embassies could at least take an advantage of that. And have a block of intellectuals or health experts or engineers. Let's say they can study the real system in Germany, and this team of students can go to Africa, let's say in Zimbabwe or Ghana or Nigeria, and see how we can implement such a real network.
Yes.
If it's about health, we can talk about the Lassa fever in Nigeria, or the Marburg virus in Ghana now, or the popular Ebola,
Yes.
the Ebola that happened, some time back.
In the DRC,
And
yes.
during these times, students from some countries in Africa who are here, who have come to gain knowledge, could be tasked to go and perform certain duties.
Yeah.
These embassies can come together and at least select some students from their countries, their respective countries, bring them together as a block or as a group, task them to go to Africa, let's say in one country, and perform a certain task. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's also another variation. Yes, it is possible maybe for the embassies then to cooperate, but because there are like so many variations on how exactly to do it. But the first thing, like I mentioned, is the realization.
The realization.
Yes, the moment that we realize that I'm doing a study that is actually based on my country, probably you are also doing a study that is based on your country, all this information might not even end up being known back home. But if it is done through, say, for instance, the embassy, all this information is known, that so-and-so did a study on this with a bearing on the home country. They did this study with a bearing on the home country. And then we have all this database. Because in my thinking, I'm actually thinking that this is actually a think tank that we can actually draw from.
Okay, so it's like the database should be built from here and sent to, let's say, Zimbabwe. So by the time you reach Zimbabwe, they already know that you have some expertise in climate change management.
Exactly.
Is that what you mean?
Yes. So if, for example, yes, we are looking at this aspect of climate change because that is our study program. But we also have other students. Let me give you an example of what I observed during the COVID pandemic. We actually have some very experienced people from different countries that are actually at the helm of advising the nations from where they are now based on how to deal with the pandemic. But they are actually from Africa. But yet in Africa we also have the pandemic and we don't have that kind of technical expertise on how to tackle the problem. But this is my point, that we have students also, probably not exactly at that level that they are as the experienced guys, but that knowledge that they have also obtained in one way or the other can actually do a lot of things back home.
Yeah, so the embassies, like I said, should take advantage of their own students.
Yes.
Have the data of these students, but first of all, they have to realize what we need or what they need to do.
Yeah.
Have the data of their students and know that these students came to study engineering. These came to study medicine.
Yes.
These came to study something under climate change or whatever.
Yes.
So in times of need, if we want people to do some kind of think tank, like some brainstorming, then we know these people were in Germany to study climate change. So let's rely on them. These were in Germany to study engineering. So let's rely on these students. Let's seek knowledge from these students. These people were in Germany to study something about supply chain management. So if the government wants to go into something that demands supply chain management, right from the onset, you know you have some people with knowledge.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I get your point. So what's your last submission about the role of embassies in students' life?
My last submission is that the role of embassies in general actually should evolve or is evolving. And our governments should actually realize that the role of the embassies should not be bordered or should not just come to a conclusion with regards to economic development or economic cooperation. We also have students, and these students actually represent an army that the countries can actually take advantage of, because it actually doesn't take a lot of money to know that our students can help us in this way, and in this way. So that realization is what we call for, that governments can actually benefit quite a lot from just knowing and also interacting with the students that are also in these countries.
Yeah, so we talked about the embassies in Germany and why they should get data of students from their respective countries. We talk about how these embassies could realize that they already have students who have gained knowledge in certain fields. And therefore, anytime they want people to task, they already have students to task. And we talked about the happenings in Ukraine and Russia, which has exposed these embassies big time when it comes to what help, what offer can your embassy do for you. This is where we draw curtains on today's show. I will still come your way with another exciting topic. Stay tuned to my channel. Just keep watching this show every day. Remember to subscribe, share this video, and like I promised you, I'll come your way with another good show. This is where we say bye to our dear viewers.
Can anybody out there